So, team, I want to focus on the career development plan for that first stage. You just got drafted and you have your entry level job. This is the very beginning of your career. And I think how you start your plan at the beginning of your career is going to help you reach those goals of first promotion, manager, senior director. Whatever your career goals, it starts with that entry level position. So let's lock in on that. A few things to call out is you have to become a professional. You've gone through high school and you get that first job, and you have to figure out how to be a professional. Things like showing up early, always being on time, following up on emails, being proactive, asking for more work. Like, those are some of the things that need to be in your bag in your career development plan as someone that's just starting their career. I also think within your career development plan, and when I say that, your career development plan at the entry level, it could be a formal document that you have. It could be in your iPhone, a notes that you create for your career, and you say, my 3 to 5 goals for my career are 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, you list those and refer back to them. But really, as an entry level professional, you got to work hard, bro. You got to put in that work. It's more so work. They talk about working harder or working smarter. At the very beginning of your career, you're leaning more into the work harder. The working smart is more of the political savvy, working through people as a manager. That's working smarter. But as an entry level person trying to make it, you got to get it. You got to put in the hours. You have to be the person proactively asking your boss, like, what else can I do? How can I make your life easier? What's keeping you up at night? How can I help you be successful in achieving your career goals as my boss? Because if I make you look good, then that's going to help me continue to elevate in the company. So it's a different mindset there. The focus again is on delivering results. So just to go back again, your career development plan at the beginning of your draft pick, first round, first job out of college or high school, it's probably not going to be as formal as it will be later in your career. But the point is, start to document it. It could be your journal that after each day of work, you're just journaling, hey, today, May 20th, 2023, I had this situation at work where a customer was not satisfied with the service, but I jumped in and boom. Like, you have to document that because you want to capture not only the wins, but the lessons, the things that you need to learn throughout each stage of your career. You want to be able to reflect and come back to that. But if you're not documenting that, your career will fly by. And here's a big one. If you're not careful, your career can happen to you versus you making your career happen. And what I mean by that is, you could start a job out of high school and college and you blink, 20 years have gone by and you're just repeating the same job, the same task. That's your career happening to you. To make your career happen, you have to document it. You have to put together your plan. What are your 3 to 5 goals over the next 2 to 3 years? Where do you see yourself? And then capture your wins. Document the lessons. And then another thing, you have to study the players. In order to go from draft pick to starter, all-star, superstar, you have to study the game. Always be looking at industry articles like the Wall Street Journal, or Robinhood has a great newsletter called Snacks where they summarize what's happening in business. So if you're a business professional, highly recommend those 2 resources. But you should be looking at thought leader blogs, respected publications like the Wall Street Journal, always listening to podcasts. Like, you have to study the players in the game so that you understand what's happening in the market, so you can pivot as needed if you see, like, for example, earlier in my career, when I first got to the starter level, I was a senior marketing specialist at a big company, big Fortune 500 company. And what I started to see is that data and analytics was starting to merge. This is 2014, 2015. And I started to look at my resume and say, yo, I don't really have a lot of data experience. how can I add that to my game? And I ended up taking a job that was on the customer analytics team because I didn't want anyone to say that Coach Rountree was not a data driven leader or could make data driven decisions. So that's what I mean. You have to study the game, study your market so that you can see how can you build the career you want. So it's not just doing the job, it's also looking to your left, looking to your right, and listening to how does a manager show up in a meeting? How does a senior director show up in a meeting? What happens when the VP joins the Zoom call, the Teams call, or walks in the door? How do they carry themselves? You have to see how it's happening so that you can begin to posture yourself and position yourself as someone is ready for those next levels. The last thing I'll say is deliver results. Your career development plan as an entry level worker is all about delivering results. And sometimes you're not going to get credit for that. It's very important. Sometimes when you first start that job out of high school, college, you're working your tail off, and people are not always going to recognize the effort. When we continue this series, I'll talk more about how to take more of that ownership and how to really highlight the great work that you're doing. But when you first start in the game, focus less on the credit, more on the results and the value that you're bringing. And those that are close to it, the real ones that know, they'll know that, hey, John was the one really involved, or Jamie was the person that really made it happen. And we'll talk more about this. Hey, listen, if this was helpful, please give me a thumbs up, like this comment, share it, and also follow and subscribe for more career development tips.